right, well, look, thanks very much, everyone. Let me just have, we've had a prayer, but let me just have a quick prayer. Father, I just thank you for this time. I just pray that you help me to get through the material as already prayed. I thank you for this opportunity. And I pray that you administer your grace, your word, by your Ruach HaKodesh to your people. And anything you don't want me to say, as I've already said, Father, let me not say it. Help me to concentrate on those things that you want me to concentrate on. In Yeshua's name, Amen. Just a little bit about me. Obviously, you can tell that I'm not from around here. I'm from Australia. I'm originally from New Zealand, which is surrounded by sharks. So we don't have a big army like you guys, but we've got plenty of sharks to keep us safe. Sadly, some of those are in government as well. So today I'm going to talk to you about a subject that perhaps some people are aware of and others are not. I've just come back from Canada, from Michigan as well, and I don't have jet lag, I've got bus lag. I was on the bus for 24 hours and I've kind of caught up. So so the Lord be with me. So I'm going to talk to you about, the title of this talk is World War III Survival Guide. It's not necessarily a family topic, but I believe that we're living in some pretty momentous days. And it's a great privilege for me to be here in the States. And despite what Obama is doing, there's still quite a lot of good guys in this country. And the reason I'm not giving this talk in Australia or New Zealand is that it's a lot more asleep over there. I believe that there's a bit of the lost tribes over in Australia and New Zealand, in some places more than others. But I have a theory that God sent the most disobedient as far away from Zion as possible, to the ends of the earth. And Joseph's horns will push the nations to the ends of the earth. And I think one of those ends is Australia and another one is New Zealand. So anyway, it's a great privilege for me to be here. And I'm really excited by what Yahweh has been doing here in America. There is a remnant that the Lord has chosen. There's some Christians that He's also going to awaken to the Torah and all that sort of stuff. And we may see some stuff in this country not in the not too distant future. In order for the Lord to bring back the house of Israel back to the land of Israel, He's going to have to make it pretty uncomfortable for us wherever we're living. And that discomfort may be a good thing because it may help us to get our act together. Not just individually, but as congregations. Because one of the sad things that I've seen in Messianic movement especially is how fragmented we are. And in some ways, discussing the Torah, there is all sorts of opinions on this and that, and that's fine. And we need to discuss things and maybe even argue. But as I say, may they be happy arguments. May we have happy arguments. Because we're brothers and sisters and we need to look after each other. You know, it's a terrible thing when people are worried about the New World Order, but they're already shooting their neighbour as their self. And they're already attacking their brother because he doesn't quite pronounce the name quite the right way, or doesn't keep the Sabbath in quite the same way, or even the same day. And, the house of Israel has been asleep for 2,775 years, or thereabouts. And so things take time to work out. So we're not going to understand everything, and we're not all going to be on the same wavelength. But God is awakening us, and that's really exciting. I've shared a couple of talks. I'll get into that shortly. That's interesting. When I go that way, I get a lot more volume. I wonder is that because it's picking it up from over there as well? I don't know. It's because of this. It's because of that. Hello. Yeah. All right. Can everyone hear me anyway? All right. Oh, that's good. Okay. Well, I guess let's get into it. It says there, Arum Ra'a V'Gisatia V'Batayim Avru V'Anashu. And A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. The simple pass on and are punished. And that's from Mishlei, Kaf Bet Gimel, Proverbs 22:3. Now, where do we hide? Where's our hiding place? Well, it says in the Psalms, show thy marvellous loving kindness, O thou that savest by thy right hand them which put their trust in thee, from those that rise up against them. Keep me as the apple of the eye. Hide me under where? The shadow of thy wings. From the wicked that oppress me, from my deadly enemies who compass me about. Now King David, he was on the run from Saul. And the wicked were not just the bad guys, the Arabs next door. It was his own countrymen. So not all men have faith. Not all Israelites are listening to Yahweh. But he hid himself in a particular place. And that was under the shadow of the wings of the Almighty. And that's where our ultimate hiding place is. This talk is all about preparation. It's all about being prepared. And there's a physical preparation that we can do. And for some, they've got the means to make considerable preparation. And a wise man would do so. But the greatest preparation we can make is right here, in our heart. Because all the physical preparation, without a spiritual preparation, is like Esau. He was a man that was prepared. And as I like to say, the New World Order are the greatest preppers the world's ever seen. They've been building deep underground bases. They've got their satellites, their spaceships, and everything else that opens and shuts. And some of God's people don't have even two sticks to rub together. But as I like to say, the Lord is raising up two sticks. And he's going to rub them together. There's going to be some fireworks. So, I've titled this talk, The World War III Survival Guide. Because I think we're going to see some stuff, and I can share some scriptures with you on that. Preparing for World War III, the destruction of America and the regathering of Israel. Now, that may hurt some feelings for some people. And I believe that when America goes down, so does Australia and so does the world. Some people think that the end of America is at the end of the world, and as I like to joke, that's not true. The end of Australia, that's actually the end of the world. But the point is that by the time we get to the book of Revelation, America's not mentioned. Maybe it's here, but it's not the big power that it is at the moment. It's my belief that there's a great deal of both Jacob and Esau in this country. And that God has blessed his people here. And that it's soon going to be time to leave. And that may be unsettling for some. And it may be incredible to many. So this is the Survivor's Handbook. And just to be up front, as I've said to you before, this is all about preparation, but the survival starts right here. Listening to God's voice. And not being led just by our mind, because we need the law of God in our mind, but it needs to trickle down to our heart. It says in Proverbs, "My son, give me your heart." So, if we think that we can think our way out of the maze and think our way through everything, that's only part of the deal. if our heart isn't right, all of our thinking process is going to be missing some things. And we may end up in big trouble. So this is part of a talk that I've put a number of talks that I've put together. This presentation is part of another presentation, a series of presentations all about the regathering of Israel. And I've looked at a lot of the scriptures concerning the regathering of Israel, and there are copious chapters on it, and it doesn't fit the world that we're living in right now. The joining up of the house of Israel and the house of Judah does not fit where we're at. So there's going to be some things that are going to happen between now and then. There's going to be some changes in the world so that the house of Israel and the house of Judah join in the north country. It says that in Ezekiel. And in Jeremiah 23, it talks about the house of Judah joining with the house of Israel in the north country. And we're told elsewhere in Scripture that the north country is by the Euphrates. And as I've said to people, there's a Mississippi, there's a Missouri, there's an Arkansas river, but there's no Euphrates here in America. So, in order for those verses to be fulfilled concerning the regathering of Israel, the Israel that's here is not going to be here. It's going to be in the north country. So that means that we're going to have some pretty tectonic, seismic events that are going to get us out of Dodge. Now, America is actually a young country, and Australia is younger as far as European colonisation is concerned. We've only been here for 400 years at the most. And that's about the length of time that Israel was in Egypt. And this is a green Goshen, just like the children of Israel came to a place in Egypt called Goshen. And there they multiplied. And that was the green, verdant, productive part of Egypt, the Nile Delta. And I've been through quite a bit of the states. I haven't been to Arizona, but everywhere else it's pretty green. Greener than many parts of Australia. So the Lord has really blessed His people here. But you don't want to stay in Goshen too long, because it rhymes with go soon. Don't stay in Goshen too long, because you're going to have to go soon. So in order for God to fulfill the scriptures concerning the regathering of Israel from the north country, we must first be there. And if we're not there, something's going to change to get us there. Could be that Jade Helm and the breakup of the United States is all part of that. And when He's breaking up the country, He's also breaking us down as well, wherever we are. And we're not going to be immune from trouble in Australia either. Wherever the lost tribes are, they're going to be regathered. And He says, I will regather you with fury poured out. If we look at the scriptures, I'm not going to be... I may be singing the Hallelujah chorus at some stage, but I'm going to be going through some things. And those things are going to make me listen to my Father in a way that I'm not listening now. There's nothing like trouble coming to our souls to bring us to an end of ourselves. I do hope that there's many more young people that start to wake up here in America and elsewhere. Again, the reason I'm speaking here in America is that Australia is sadly asleep. So I put some videos together and some talks, and they're all free on YouTube, so I'm not trying to sell anything. The first one is World War III and the Second Exodus. The second one is called Timelines for Regathering Israel. And the third one I did in Arkansas and in Michigan, the premillennial, pre-tribulation Kingdom of David.